The huge alien ship called Harmonious Unity floated above Earth. Its crystal-like body reflected sunlight in pretty patterns. Captain Zixalara, an insect-like alien, looked at the blue planet through a large window. Her many eyes studied the swirling clouds with great interest. "This planet shows amazing life readings," said Science Officer Pelthun, his long tentacles moving over glowing displays. "It's a Class 12 death world. The gravity alone would crush most conclave species." Zixalara clicked her mouthparts thoughtfully. "And yet smart life grew here. Very interesting. The galactic conclave had found Earth 3 years ago. After watching humans for a while, they decided it was time to say hello. Humans were not as advanced as the aliens. They had only reached their moon, but they showed good progress for such a young species. "The human group is coming," said Communications Officer Vrel, her glowing skin pulsing with excitement. The small ship from Earth docked smoothly. The alien representatives gathered in the welcome room. They wore special suits made to handle human needs. The airlock door opened and the humans walked in. Leading them was Ambassador Donald Wright, a tall man with wide shoulders and a friendly smile. Behind him walked Dr. Samantha Kelly, who studied alien life. Her eyes were wide with wonder as she looked at the strange ship. Security Chief Alan Reeves came last, standing straight and alert. "Welcome to the Harmonious Unity," said Zixalara, through her translator. "We are happy to meet Earth's first space travelers." Ambassador Wright stepped forward with a small bow. "On behalf of humanity, we thank you for this historic meeting. We come in peace and friendship." The formal greetings went well. The humans were clearly amazed by the advanced technology and different alien species, but they stayed calm and professional. Everything was fine until the tour reached the ship's plant and animal room. Dr. Kelly was excitedly recording every new alien creature she saw. Then she noticed Security Chief Reeves had gone completely still. He was staring at something in the corner of the room. She followed his gaze and saw a small animal that looked like a 6-legged rabbit, happily eating a purple leaf. "Alan?" she asked quietly. Without warning, Reeves jumped forward. He tackled both Dr. Kelly and Ambassador Wright to the ground just as a huge predator leaped from the plants. The creature had been perfectly hidden, its scales changing color to match its surroundings. It flew through the air exactly where the humans had been standing moments before. The alien representatives scattered in fear. The creature, a Drakthar, Hunter used to control pests in the room, was thought to be harmless to smart beings. It was programmed to hunt only the small plant eaters that kept the ecosystem balanced. Yet somehow Reeves had spotted it before it attacked. As the creature landed and got ready to jump again, Reeves was already moving. He placed himself between the alien predator and his friends, his body low and ready. "Stay back," he said calmly, never taking his eyes off the threat. The Drakthar hissed, showing rows of needle-like teeth. It circled the human carefully, clearly seeing him as a possible threat. To the surprise of the watching aliens, the human and the predator seemed to be sizing each other up. "Impossible," whispered Pelthun. "He's showing top predator behavior patterns. How can a friendly talking species understand hunting dynamics?" The face-off ended when ship security arrived with stun guns, putting the Drakthar to sleep. Only then did Reeves relax his stance. "How did you know it was there?" asked Zixalara, her mouth parts clicking rapidly in worry. "It was perfectly hidden." Reeves shrugged, helping Dr. Kelly to her feet. "Saw the plants move strangely. Noticed too much stillness. Predator signs." He spoke as if these things were obvious. The alien members exchanged troubled looks. Humans had just arrived as possible diplomatic partners, but this display suggested something much more worrying. They had unknowingly invited predators onto their ship. Later that day, the human delegation settled into their quarters. The rooms had been specially adjusted to match Earth conditions, with higher gravity and different air mix. "Did you see their faces when you tackled us?" Dr. Kelly asked Reeves as they checked their equipment. "I don't think prey species understand the concept of jumping toward danger." Ambassador Wright frowned. "We need to be careful. Our natural instincts might scare them. Remember, we're here to make friends, not terrify potential allies. With all due respect, sir, Reeves said, that thing was going to attack. I just did my job. And saved our lives, Dr. Kelly added. But look at it from their view. You recognized a perfectly camouflaged predator that their own security missed. Then faced it down like you were the bigger threat. Wright nodded slowly. Which to them might suggest we're the predators. A soft chime indicated someone at their door. Wright opened it to find Captain Zixalara and Science Officer Pelthun waiting outside. May we enter? The captain asked. We have some questions about today's event. Wright welcomed them in. The two aliens moved carefully, their body language showing nervousness. We've reviewed the security recordings, Pelthun began. Security Chief Reeves spotted the Drakthar 3.7 seconds before it attacked, despite perfect camouflage that hides it from our sensors. Just doing my job, Reeves said again. What my colleague means, Dr. Kelly cut in, sensing the tension, is that humans evolved certain traits that might seem unusual to you. Our ancestors were pursuit predators. We hunted by chasing prey to exhaustion over long distances. The aliens' bodies stiffened slightly at this confirmation. So you are meat-eaters, Zixalara stated. Omnivores, actually, Wright clarified. We eat both plants and animals, but yes, meat is part of our diet. And your eyes, Pelthun observed, forward-facing, binocular vision for depth perception during hunting. Reeves shifted uncomfortably. Look, I understand your concern, but humans haven't been pure predators for thousands of years. We farm, we grow food, we raise animals humanely. Yet the instincts remain, Zixalara said quietly. The pattern recognition, the threat assessment, the protective response. She turned to Ambassador Wright. In all our explorations, we've never encountered an intelligent predator species that developed civilization. Is that a problem? Wright asked carefully. Zixalara's compound eyes reflected the room's light. It is unexpected. Nearly 98% of conclave species evolved from prey animals. Our societies are built on cooperation, hiding, and strategic retreat from danger. Humans cooperate too, Dr. Kelly pointed out. In fact, cooperative hunting is what helped develop our social structures. Pelthun's tentacles waved in what they'd come to recognize as excitement. Fascinating. You use predatory instincts for social bonding? The conversation continued late into the ship's night cycle. The aliens asked countless questions about human history, hunting techniques, and how predatory instincts affected human culture. As they left, Zixalara paused at the door. Thank you for your honesty, Ambassador. The Conclave will need to adjust our expectations of your species. After they left, Wright turned to his colleagues. Well, that went better than expected. Did it? Reeves asked skeptically. They're terrified of us. Not terrified, Dr. Kelly corrected. Fascinated and cautious, and maybe, she smiled, a little impressed. Outside in the corridor, Zixalara and Pelthun hurried toward the command center. We must inform the High Council immediately, the captain said urgently. The humans are not what we expected. Yes, agreed Pelthun, checking that no one could hear them. But consider the possibilities. If they could be allies rather than threats, a predator species that protects instead of hunt, or the most dangerous addition to the galaxy we've ever encountered, Zixalara countered. Either way, everything has changed. Aboard the Harmonious Unity, the first contact with humans had opened a new chapter in galactic history. The prey, species of the Conclave, would never see the universe the same way again. They had brought a predator aboard, and nothing would ever be the same. 2 weeks after the incident in the biodome, the human delegation had settled into life aboard the Harmonious Unity. However, the alien leaders still worried about human nature. They show all the signs of top predators, biology specialist Marinth argued during a private meeting. Eyes in front of their head, hunting in groups, ability to spot hidden movement. They evolved as chase hunters, but they also built a civilization, countered cultural director Holivar. They make art, music, and complex ideas about life. Captain Zixalara tapped her claws on the crystal table. The question isn't if they're dangerous, All signs say they are. The question is whether that danger can be controlled or even used. You can't mean to use them as security forces. Mirinth's scales turned bright with alarm. I suggest we test them, Zixalara replied. The next day, Ambassador Wright and his team were called to a special meeting. Security Chief Reeves noticed right away that there were more guards in the room than usual. We have an offer, Zixalara began. The Conclave has a problem on our colony world Proxima Delta. A dangerous animal called the Vrex has escaped and is threatening our research base there. She turned on a hologram showing a creature that looked like a mix between an earth crocodile and a praying mantis, standing about 10 feet tall. Our security teams can't catch them. They're smart, quick to adapt, and almost impossible to track. With our technology. Dr. Kelly studied the hologram with interest. What exactly are you asking from us? We propose a test, Zixalara stated. If Security Chief Reeves would join a capture team, we could see if human tracking and fighting skills work where our methods have failed. Ambassador Wright frowned. This sounds risky. All safety rules would be followed, Zixalara promised. We're just curious if human hunting instincts might succeed where our ways have failed. Reeves had been quietly studying the Vrex hologram. Do these things hunt in groups? Yes, groups of 3 to 5. He nodded thoughtfully. I'll need to bring Olivia Nash and Greg Porter from our ship. They're former soldiers with tracking experience. The test was agreed upon. 3 days later, Reeves and his team arrived on Proxima Delta. The research base was in chaos, with scared scientists locked inside strong laboratories. The alien security forces had set up a ring around the base but were clearly out of there. Depth Commander Thraxis, head of alien security, explained the situation. The Vrex escaped 7 days ago. They've killed 11 people and broken our camera system. We've tried sound weapons, chemical sprays, and energy barriers. Nothing works for long. They learn quickly. Reeves looked at the maps of the area while Nash and Porter checked the equipment given by the aliens. Your weapons don't kill, Porter noticed, examining a sound gun. Of course not, Thraxis answered, his head crest rising in surprise. The Vrex are rare animals. They're valuable research subjects. The humans exchanged glances. We'll need to set up a camp here, Reeves pointed to a spot on the map. And I want to see your failed trap designs. What are you planning? Thraxis asked. Something that prey animals wouldn't think of, Nash replied with a slight smile. We're going to think like them, not like scared scientists. The first night on Proxima Delta showed the basic difference between humans and the alien species. While the alien security teams set up defensive positions with bright lights and sound barriers, the human team went dark. What are they doing? Thraxis demanded as the humans turned off the lights around their camp. Hunting, Dr. Kelly explained from the command center, where she watched both teams. They're making themselves bait. The plan worked. Shortly after midnight, 3 Vrex approached the seemingly unprotected human camp. The aliens watched through night vision cameras, expecting to see the humans overwhelmed. Instead, they saw something that would change how the Conclave understood humans forever. Checkio, humans had set up a clever series of triggers and traps, not to keep the Vrex out but to guide them into a trap zone. When the predators attacked, the humans moved with coordinated precision that showed their history as pack hunters. Porter deliberately showed himself, drawing the lead Vrex into a prepared ditch where Nash waited with a modified sound gun. As the creature charged, Reeves attacked from above, having climbed into position hours earlier. Within minutes, all 3 Vrex were caught, put to sleep, and secured. The humans had only minor injuries. Amazing, Thraxis admitted, his mouth parts twitching with nervous energy. You didn't just track them, you predicted what they would do. Takes a predator to catch a predator, Porter said, putting medicine on a cut on his arm. By the end of the week, all 15 escaped Vrex had been recaptured. The human team's methods had worked much better than anything the aliens had tried. As they prepared to return to the harmonious unity, Dr. Kelly noticed how differently the aliens now looked at her human colleagues, with new caution mixed with respect. You've made quite an impression, she told Reeves. He shrugged. Just doing what comes naturally. That was exactly what worried the aliens. Back on the ship, the human delegation was welcomed with a formal dinner. The atmosphere was strange, a mix of gratitude and unease. Your methods were effective, Science Officer Pelthun said during the meal. But I must ask, how did you know the Vrex would be attracted to a dark camp? Our research suggested they avoid areas of potential danger. They don't avoid danger, Reeves corrected. They avoid obvious traps. There's a difference. Seeing the confused alien faces, Dr. Kelly explained further. What looks like a trap to a prey species often looks like an opportunity to a predator. Your security forces set up bright lights and noise, clear warnings to stay away. We offered what looked like easy prey, and then turned the tables. Ambassador Wright added, It's a hunting technique humans have used for thousands of years. Captain, Zixalara's compound eyes reflected the dim light of the dining hall. Your species' understanding of predatory behavior is disturbing and valuable. The Conclave has always struggled with containing dangerous life forms. Our evolutionary history makes us naturally defensive, while ours makes us naturally offensive. Wright nodded. I understand your concern. It is not merely concern, Zixalara said carefully. It is opportunity. The Galactic Conclave faces threats that our natural instincts leave us ill-equipped to handle. Later that evening, Reeves sat alone in the observation deck, watching the stars. He heard the soft hiss of the door opening but didn't turn around. Couldn't sleep either? Dr. Kelly asked, joining him by the window. Just thinking, he replied. They're afraid of us. Yes, she agreed. But they also need us. Did you see how the captain was talking at dinner? They're already thinking about how to use our predatory instincts to solve their problems. Reeves frowned. I'm not comfortable being seen as some kind of attack dog. I don't think that's how they see us, Kelly said thoughtfully. It's more like they've spent their entire evolutionary history running from predators. Now they've met predators who want to talk instead of hunt. It changes everything they thought they knew about the universe. And about themselves, Reeves added. They built this huge space alliance without ever developing real offensive capabilities. Makes you wonder what else they're missing. Dr. Kelly looked out at the stars. We could learn from each other, their cooperation, our protection. It could be the start of something important. Reeves nodded slowly. Maybe, but I can't shake the feeling that we're being tested for something bigger. He was right. At that very moment, in the secure chamber of the ship, Captain Zixalara was sending a coded message to the Conclave High Council. Human combat test, successful beyond expectations. Predatory instincts intact but controlled. Request permission. To proceed with Phase 2, Crisis Response Assessment. The reply came almost immediately. Permission granted. The harvester threat grows. We must know if humans can be trusted as defenders before full disclosure. Zixalara looked at the message for a long moment before deleting it. She had come to respect the humans, particularly Reeves. But the needs of the Conclave came first. The upcoming test would put the humans in real danger, but if they passed, it might change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The predators would become protectors, whether they knew it or not. 3 months after the successful Vrex capture mission, humans had become a hot topic throughout the Galactic Conclave. Stories of their predatory skills had spread, causing both wonder and fear among alien species. On the diplomatic ship, Celestial Accord, heading to the Conclave home planet of Harmonious Prime, Ambassador Wright found himself increasingly alone. The initial friendliness of their alien hosts had cooled to simple politeness. They're afraid of us, he told Dr. Kelly as they ate a meal in their private room. Not just careful, really afraid. Can you blame them? She replied. 98% of Conclave species evolved from prey animals. Their societies are built on working together and hiding from threats. We're the first intelligent species they've met that evolved from chase predators. Security Chief Reeves joined them, his face serious. It's worse than that. I've been listening to their communications. They're talking about containment rules for Earth. The meaning was clear. To the Conclave, humanity represented a possible threat that needed to be managed. Their talk was interrupted by the ship's alarm. Red lights flashed throughout the vessel and the gravity shifted for a moment. "What's happening?" Wright demanded when Captain Neil Vaxis appeared on the communication screen. "We've run into a harvester ship," the captain replied, her face tentacles, moving with distress. "All non-essential crew must go to safe rooms immediately." "Harvesters?" Dr. Kelly asked. The alien captain's many eyes blinked rapidly. "They are predators. Like you, but without civilization. They raid developed worlds for resources and genetic material." The ship shook violently as something hit the hull. Through the window, they could see a massive dark ship approaching, its surface covered with sharp spikes that reminded Reeves of a giant sea urchin. "Can you outrun them?" he asked. "No. They've damaged our engines. Defense systems are activating, but—" The communication cut off as another hit rocked the ship. Emergency shields turned on throughout the vessel. "They're boarding us," Reeves realized. He opened his secure locker and got out the limited weapons the humans had been allowed, simple stun guns and defense sticks. Ambassador Wright used the emergency channel to Earth's new space command. "This is Ambassador Wright aboard the Celestial Accord. We are under attack by hostile forces called Harvesters, requesting immediate help." The answer was not good. The nearest human ship was days away. When the Harvester boarding parties broke, through the hull, the Conclave security forces proved terribly inadequate. Evolved from prey species, their tactics focused on containment and retreat, setting up barriers and falling back to defensible positions. The Harvesters, massive bug-like beings with enhanced outer skeletons, simply smashed through these defenses. "They're heading for the ship's central database and the biological storage units," reported Officer Pelthun, who had taken shelter with the human delegation. "Standard procedure. They take technology and genetic samples before destroying." "The ship." Reeves studied the ship maps. "If they reach the core systems, how long before they can download the database?" "Minutes at most. It contains the coordinates of every Conclave world, including Earth." The security chief made a quick decision. "Dr. Kelly, stay with the ambassador and help coordinate the Conclave evacuation. I'm going to slow them down." "That's suicide?" Wright protested. "Not if I'm not alone." Reeves used his communicator. "Olivia Gregg, meet me at Junction C7. Bring everything you've got." The three human security specialists met near the central database access point. Unlike the retreating Conclave defenders, they moved toward the danger, talking in short phrases that showed their military backgrounds. 5 enemies, heavy armor, energy weapons," Porter reported after a quick look. "They're cutting through the final security door." Nash checked her weapon. "Standard stun charges won't go through that armor." Reeves nodded grimly. "We changed the plan. Environmental tactics." What followed would become legendary in Conclave records. Instead of directly fighting the superior forces, the humans manipulated the ship's systems to create advantageous conditions. They vented air from selected compartments, overloaded power lines to create electromagnetic pulses, and used the ship's artificial gravity to pin down and separate the Harvester forces. The Harvesters, used to overwhelming frightened prey species, found themselves hunted by creatures who understood predatory tactics at a basic level. From the bridge, Captain Neil Vaxis and the remaining crew watched in amazement as the humans systematically isolated and neutralized the boarding party. When direct fighting was necessary, the humans used coordinated attacks that targeted weak points in the Harvester's armor, joints, sensory organs, and weapon systems. "They're not just brave," Pelthun observed with a mixture of fear and admiration. "They're enjoying this." Indeed, the humans showed none of the terror that paralyzed the Conclave crew. Instead, they showed a focused intensity that bordered on excitement, the evolutionary response of top predators engaged in the hunt. When the last Harvester had been neutralized, Reeves rejoined the command staff on the bridge. He was injured but triumphant. "We've disabled their boarding craft's return systems," he reported. "Their main vessel is leaving." Captain Neil Vaxis's tentacles moved in what the humans had learned to recognize as deep shock. "You drove them away. In 300 years, no Conclave vessel has successfully fought off a harvester attack. The implications were not lost on anyone present. Humanity had just shown its value to the Galactic Conclave in the most dramatic way possible, not despite their predatory nature, but because of it. As emergency repairs began, Ambassador Wright found himself suddenly surrounded by Conclave officials, eager to discuss a new type of alliance, one where humanity's unique abilities might serve as a protective force for the mostly prey species of the galaxy. The predators had become protectors. "I don't understand," Wright said to Zixalara, who had joined the ship via emergency transport once the crisis was over. "Just yesterday, your people were afraid to be in the same room with us. Now you want us to be your defenders?" The alien captain's compound eyes reflected the emergency lights. "Fear and need are powerful motivators, Ambassador. The harvesters have been a growing threat for decades. Our evolutionary history makes us poorly suited to combat them." Dr. Kelly, her medical training put to use treating both human and alien injuries, joined the conversation. "You need predators to fight predators." "Precisely," Zixalara agreed. "This attack, while unfortunate, has demonstrated what we suspected after the Vrex incident. Humanity's predatory instincts, when properly directed, are exactly what the Conclave lacks." Reeves, his arm freshly bandaged, looked suspicious. This attack was very convenient timing. A moment of tense silence followed his words. "What are you suggesting?" Wright asked carefully. "I'm suggesting," Reeves said, looking directly at Zixalara, "that the timing of a harvester attack right after we proved useful in the Virex incident seems too perfect. Almost like a test." The alien captain's mouth parts clicked rapidly, a sign of distress the humans had learned to recognize. "The attack was real, Security Chief Reeves. The harvesters have been raiding our outer colonies for years, but we may have chosen this route deliberately, knowing it passed through a sector where harvester activity had been reported. You used us as bait," Reeves stated flatly. "We presented an opportunity," Zixalara corrected, "for both our species. The Conclave needs defenders with skills we do not possess naturally. Humanity needs allies as it expands into a dangerous galaxy." Wright looked between his security chief and the alien captain. "So this whole diplomatic mission was what? A job interview?" "More like a mutually beneficial assessment," Zixalara replied. "You needed to know if we could be trusted with human expansion into space. We needed to know if humans could control their predatory nature for the greater good." "And your verdict?" Dr. Kelly asked. The alien captain's posture shifted to what they recognized as formal respect. "The Conclave High Council has authorized me to offer humanity full membership, with a special designation as a protector species." The humans exchanged glances. "What exactly would that entail?" Wright asked. "Humanity would provide security forces for Conclave worlds and vessels. In return, you would receive full access to our technology, faster-than-light travel systems, medical advances, and trade networks." "You want us to be your soldiers," Reeves said bluntly. "We want you to be what we cannot," Zixalara replied. "In our long history, the Conclave has mastered cooperation, diplomacy, and defensive technology. But when faced with truly aggressive species like the harvesters, we lack the instinctive understanding needed to fight effectively. While humans," Wright realized, "have spent our entire evolutionary history both as predators and fighting against other predators." "Exactly," the alien captain confirmed. "Today, your small team did what an entire security force could not. You thought like the enemy and turned their strengths against them." As the damaged ship limped toward Harmonious Prime, the human delegation met privately to discuss the offer. "They're afraid of us, but they need us," Porter observed. "Classic protection relationship." "Is that so bad?" Dr. Kelly asked. "Humanity gets access to interstellar travel and advanced technology. They get security they desperately need." 1 year after the Harvester attack, the map of galactic politics had changed completely. The Great Hall of Harmony on the Conclave homeworld was packed full as delegates from all member species gathered for a historic event. At the center of the ceremony stood Ambassador Donald Wright, with Security Chief Alan Reeves and Dr. Samantha Kelly beside him. Before them, the Conclave High Council, leaders of the 12 founding species, prepared to create a new type of relationship with humanity. "We gather today to accept a truth that challenges our basic understanding of civilization," began High. Counselor Zixalara, who had been promoted after her early support for human integration. "That predatory instinct, properly guided, can exist alongside and even improve peaceful cooperation. The journey to this moment had not been easy. After the successful defense against the harvesters, humanity was viewed with a complex mix of gratitude and fear. Some conclave groups had pushed for limiting human expansion, arguing that their predatory nature made them inherently dangerous. What changed their minds was the Vrex Rebellion. 6 months earlier, the research subjects that Reeves and his team had recaptured on Proxima Delta had planned a mass escape, along with dozens of other predatory species being studied in conclave facilities. Evidence suggested outside help, likely from the harvesters, who saw a chance to weaken their enemies. The resulting crisis had spread across 17 worlds. Conclave security forces, evolved from prey species, found themselves mentally unsuited to hunt down and stop the threats. Civilian deaths increased. In desperation, the Conclave had asked for help from Earth. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Human security teams deployed throughout Conclave space, bringing with them thousands of years of experience as top predators. What impressed the Conclave most wasn't just humanity's effectiveness in neutralizing threats. It was their restraint. Despite their evolutionary history, humans showed precise control over their predatory instincts, capturing rather than killing whenever possible. Now, that cooperation was being made permanent. The Treaty of Mutual Protection recognizes humanity as the first predator guardian species within the Conclave, Zixalara continued. In exchange for protection services and security advice, Earth will receive full membership benefits, including access to all technological, medical, and scientific advances. Ambassador Wright stepped forward to sign the treaty. Humanity accepts this responsibility with humility and determination. Throughout our history, we have struggled to channel our more aggressive instincts toward constructive purposes. In the I-Dus Conclave, we have found not just allies but a higher purpose for abilities we once thought were primitive remnants of our evolutionary past. As the ceremony ended, Dr. Kelly found herself approached by Pelthun, now serving as Chief Scientific Liaison to Earth. "There is something I've been wanting to ask," the alien scientist said, his tentacles moving in patterns she had learned to recognize as showing curiosity. "Your species evolved as predators, yet you built a civilization based on cooperation and mutual support. How did you overcome your nature?" Dr. Kelly smiled. "We didn't overcome it. We redirected it. The same drive that once made us hunt now pushes us to explore, to discover, to protect. The instinct isn't good or bad by itself, it's how we use it that matters." Across the hall, Security Chief Reeves was talking with a group of young Conclave security officers who had joined the newly established Human Combat Tactics Academy. "The difference between a predator and a protector is choice," he explained. "Both are willing to face danger, both understand how threats think. But a protector puts themselves between the threat and the vulnerable. That's what humans have always done best for our own kind, and now we do it for yours." The integration of humanity into the Conclave continued to reshape both societies. Human instructors taught Conclave security forces to recognize and counter predatory tactics. In return, Conclave philosophers helped humans develop even greater control over their aggressive impulses through advanced brain techniques. Joint human Conclave patrol ships became a common sight in frontier systems. Harvester raids decreased dramatically once word spread that the prey species now had predators of their own defending them. 3 years after first contact, when the first harvester invasion fleet appeared at the edges of Conclave space, they encountered not panicked prey but a coordinated defense force led by human tacticians who understood exactly how to counter predatory aggression. The fleet retreated with heavy losses, never to return in such strength again. On the observation deck of the human Conclave defense vessel Unity, named in honor of the first contact ship, Captain Olivia Nash, formerly one of Reeves's security specialists, watched the harvester ships disappear into the darkness of space. Beside her stood First Officer Thraxus, who had once questioned human methods on Proxima Delta. "Do you think they'll return?" he asked. Nash smiled confidently. "Not in our lifetime. Predators are cautious by nature. They don't attack when the risk outweighs the reward." "I never thought I would say this, but I am grateful that the universe produced at least one species of civilized predators," Thraxus admitted. "That's the funny part of it all," Nash replied. "The very thing that once made us dangerous, our predatory evolution, is what now makes us valuable as protectors." Back on Earth, the changes were even more dramatic. The treaty with the Conclave had accelerated human technology by centuries. New medical advances from alien worlds had eliminated most diseases. Clean energy systems had replaced fossil fuels. Food production systems made hunger a thing of the past. But the most profound change was in how humans saw themselves. In the central plaza of the new United Earth Government building, a statue had been erected. It showed a human standing protectively in front of a group of diverse alien species. The plaque read, "Our strength is their shield." Children now learned in school that humans had a special role in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians. The very traits that had once made humans fear themselves, their aggression, their predatory instincts, their willingness to fight, had become their greatest contribution to galactic peace. Security Chief Reeves, now Admiral Reeves of the Earth Conclave, Joint Defense Force, stared up at the statue with mixed feelings. "Impressive, isn't it?" Ambassador Wright said, joining him in the plaza. "They've made you look quite heroic." Reeves shook his head. "It wasn't heroism, just instinct. The best kind of heroism often is," Wright replied. "You know, when we first made contact, I was worried they'd see us as monsters, predators in a galaxy of prey. And now we're celebrated for it." Reeves gestured to a group of alien tourists taking pictures beside the statue. "Does that bother you?" Wright considered the question. "No, because we're not just predators anymore. We've become something better, something that uses strength to protect, not to dominate." "Guardians," Reeves nodded. "Exactly." Wright clapped his old friend on the shoulder. "For millions of years, life on Earth was about the strong eating the weak. We evolved beyond that on our own planet. Now we're helping the galaxy evolve beyond it too." As they watched, a conclave ship descended through the clouds, its crystalline structure catching the sunlight. Another diplomatic delegation, no doubt. The relationship between humans and the conclave grew stronger each year. "From predators to protectors," Reeves mused. "Not a bad evolution." "No," Wright agreed. "Not bad at all." Across the plaza, Dr. Kelly was giving a tour to a group of new alien students at the Earth Conclave University of Cultural Exchange. "The relationship between humans and the conclave proves that biology isn't destiny," she explained. "What matters isn't where we came from, but what we choose to become." One of the students, a young thelicoid like Captain Zixalara, raised a tentacle. "But aren't humans still dangerous?" Kelly smiled. "Of course we are, that's the point. The most effective guardians are those who understand the danger they're protecting you from. We know how predators think because we are predators. But we're predators who made a choice." As the sun set over the new Earth, with its mix of human and alien architecture, the first chapter of humanity's galactic adventure was closing. But a new one was just beginning. They had brought a predator aboard their ship, and in doing so, the Conclave had found not an enemy, but a protector, and humans had found their place among the stars. The end.